those of you who follow me on Instagram, by the way, welcome to my channel. This is Debbie from Project 39. Pretty excited about this, and I wanted to hurry up and get into it. Anyhow, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that I've been working on a project using up this acrylic paper pad that's been in my stash for several years. Oh, I didn't realize that cover is just plain acrylic, but it's all scratched up, so I don't know if I'll ever use it. But anyhow, so I've had this in my stash for a while, and I'm on a smash my stash. I don't want to have any Halloween left over except for maybe dies and stamps. I want to use up all the paper, all of the ribbon, all of the washi, everything. And I know it sounds crazy to you, but don't forget I live and travel in my RV, and this stuff takes up room. And, every time the new stuff comes out each year, I was like, I can't buy it because I have all this old stuff. So my idea is to use all the old stuff so when the new stuff comes out next year, I can get it and not feel guilty. So anyhow, one of the things I've had for many years was this acrylic pad. I'm trying to see if there's a date on it, but I don't actually have the back page of it. So I don't know. 3 years, 5 years, I don't know. If anyone has it and they remember when they got it, let me know. So it's an 8x8 paper pad, and I've used bits and pieces. I used some, I put in a haunted house I made with the Dollar Tree wooden haunted houses. If I remember, I'll link that. Otherwise, just search in my channel. And I've used some on cards. But, it's a really spooky looking thing, and I don't have papers that exactly match this level of spookiness. It's lots of skeletons and x-rays and that kind of thing besides this fabulous haunted house. I think the one piece, no, I used that too. I was going to say the one piece that I have left besides this was a tree, like haunted trees, but no, I used that one too. So this is the only piece I have left is this house. So here's the thing about acrylic. It scores and folds really easy. So it's slippery, so you have to make sure you hold it down on your scoreboard. Maybe even tape it if you find it slips. But you can score it to make pages, and it made a fabulous spine and hinge. Now the thing is, you can't use liquid adhesive on it. You have to use a double-sided permanent adhesive like score tape. And I also sewed this. So let me show you what I've made. It's not perfect, but I think it's a good starting point for those of you who want to use the acrylic in your stash. And there will be one time that I apologize for the shininess, but you know what? It's acrylic. There's not much I can do to it. So here is my cover. I took a piece of chipboard and cut out a hole, made it sort of like a Polaroid, just because I wanted a base to attach things to. You see some of the acrylic showing through, but I did use, again, I'm using stuff from my stash. This is from Tim Holtz that I just layered. I tore the paper. Obviously a Tim Holtz, whatever you call those people, and a bird cage that was punched out of a punch I had. There's a rosette under here, a spider web that was a die. And I think that's it. I probably could have done more. I was going to put on flowers, but honestly, I didn't feel like making any more, and I had bright orange, and I thought it was just too bright for the look I was going for. Now you'll see this is sewed. Let me tell you, the sewing machine is older than I am, and you sew for 2 inches, and then you need to adjust it. Maybe I'll get a new one someday. I sort of hate to put the money into something that I don't use that often. If I happen to find one in a thrift store, then I might pick it up. But otherwise, it does me. And honestly, the look that we get from this works pretty well for Halloween. So here is the spine. Now I did put a little attaching brad on here, and I was going to put some jewelry on here, but all the jewelry was bright orange and cheerful, and again, not fitting this vibe. So this album measures, is it 8? Yes, it is. 8 by 8. It's got a 3-inch spine. I probably didn't have to make it that large, but I didn't know. I knew it was going to get chunky, and I didn't know how chunky. So I have made it so then all of the pages are really a pocket page. They're all open at the top. So on here, on this page, I actually put in, well, that's just a piece of chipboard, just to keep it a little less flimsy, and put it in the cover. Now, if you were to put in something brighter, I mean, then you can see the image a little better. So that is a thought. I might keep that in there. All right, let me take you inside the front page. So again, you can see my terrible sewing. And I know there's probably a bunch of you that are saying, you need to adjust. Whatever. I've adjusted everything, and I stitch, and it comes apart. And it is what it is. I did actually put some clear packing tape over this, so it's not going to come apart. I tried to put some glue on here, but the glue took 2 days to dry because it's plastic on plastic. So it is what it is. So anyhow, you may have seen this page. Let me get this so it's not. I'm going to put my glue under here to keep it from being so shiny. All right, the back page. That was what I put on Instagram. I made a pocket. I just scored it and attached it with double-sided permanent adhesive. I'm using just things that are in my stash. Don't remember what this paper pad was. I know I've made a mini album out of it. It may have been a die cuts with a view. I don't even know. This was from I don't know. Sorry, can't help you. Just it's been in my stash. So anyhow, there's room in the pocket to put lots of different things. I've got some photos in here later. I added photos from my photo stash just to show you how you can use this. There's ribbon I folded in half. I used double-sided adhesive. I put a little bit of velvet ribbon on top just to hide the end. That's just a square that I had a couple of things that I layered, Tim Holtz things, obviously. So there is my bat page. Here is my spider page. So see this cool x-ray of the hand? I thought it would be fun to put a spider in the fingers of that hand. I did put some vellum because I made this paper. I had a spider web stamp, and I stamped it and embossed it with clear embossing powder, and then I just added some browns and some oranges and just played around with it. But it's sort of a creepy vibe to go underneath here, but then I thought you couldn't really see it, so that's why I put the vellum there. So I did have some paper from my stash, spiders and spider webby things. And yeah, the vellum just helped break up the pattern so you could see the x-ray a little more. That was part of my stash. I just put some fun fur yarn underneath. I added some fun fur underneath the spider that I fussy cut. So you can add photos to here. You could journal with a white pen. You could do all sorts of things to make this more of a mini album. So that is that page. Now here we get into some photos. So here in Vermont, where I'm camping right now, there is a mansion that was built in the late 1800s, I believe. It was by this guy called Everett. What was his first name? I don't know. He he was the guy that worked for the company. He didn't discover it or didn't create it. His father-in-law created it, but he did the first Coca-Cola bottles. So he made a fortune, and he built this 36-room mansion in the hills of Vermont. It had 300,000 apple trees. I mean, it was huge. It's closed down. It used to be a school as of a couple of years ago, and they went bankrupt, and now somebody bought it in the past year, and they're going to turn it into a 5-star hotel, so they say. But there's all these cool structures in there, and so that's what the pictures are. You go in, and there is this picture of this headless person. I don't know why there's a headless person in this mansion. I mean, that's how it... I don't know. And I'm pretty sure it was headless. They didn't knock the head off. I don't think vandals knocked the heads off. There's this great tiered fountain. It goes up the mountain, and it goes down into a pool, and then it comes out through like the guy's mouth, and then into another pool, and then it comes out through guy's hands and another pool, and it goes down till it comes into this like grotto with Neptune. And I mean, it's really a creepy place. But I'm using the photos here to show you how you can put photos. So here is this page. This is what was the picture? Just another hand. So let me tell you about this page. So I took some crepe paper and sewed it, add some ribbon, cut it up real small, added some more fun fur. I dyed the ribbon. It wasn't giving me the look I wanted. It looked more like a garter belt than anything. So anyhow, you can see I added some paper and some different textures and layered it up with a sentiment that says ghastly. So that makes a nice page. Since I had skeletons on this page, I thought that would be appropriate. So that goes in like that. Oh, that was spiders from this page and spiders from that page. You know, the thing about this is you don't know where one ends and one begins. I'll go there. So anyhow, you can take this and use that as a tuck spot for your photos. So there is the ghastly bones and skeletons page. All right, there may be some of you who do not like this page because it is snakes. My husband does not want to look at this page. This is another one of those photos that was in the grotto. I just sort of did it in a negative. Just something different. So yeah, I have this paper that is all about snakes. And I just thought that would be sort of cool. This is a photograph of the x-ray photo of like some guy's stomach. And I thought, you know, why not have spiders, snakes all over it? That's part of the house. I mean, look at all the stonework is fabulous, and the metal work is, it's just amazing. He brought guys over, like 300 stonemasons from Italy to work on this project. It took them 2 years to do. And I've got another picture coming up. So anyhow, you can see the pages, and the pages are made by folding a 1/2 inch in and a 1/2 inch on the bottom using double-sided permanent adhesive and attaching to a piece that's 1/2 an inch smaller. And then again, I did make this as a regular hinge system. You can see some of the double-sided adhesive holding it together. All right, let me show you the next page. This is my favorite photo from the mansion, but let's talk about the picture or everything. So a Tim Holtz guy, since I had some moths that I fussy cut and I added to the page, there's a moth that this guy is sitting on, some roses, a florist card. I had some of this kind of moss lichen, I don't know, something growing in my, not growing in my stash. It was in my stash. And so I just added that to the page. Oh, my inspiration was this. It was from a Tim Holtz wallpaper, I guess, and it's butterflies and moths. So that goes down. If we turn it this way, can you see the x-ray? You can see the lungs. I think it actually might be upside down, but it looked better to me. So anyhow, butterflies and moths. This was in at the front, well, the back door, I guess, which people use as the front of the mansion. It's the only one in the mansion. It's not like he had a set of arms. I mean, I don't think Everett made it to be creepy, but it is sort of creepy, isn't it? This hand reaching out from the wall holding a lantern. And again, that's from the late 1800s. I'm pretty sure of the dates, but not positive. Anyhow, that goes in like that. Do I have the other photo? Yes, I do. Okay, so this page is the skull page. And I wanted to keep it so you could see the skull of the acetate shining through. So I made... I had this paper and I just cut some skulls and made it as sort of like a bookmark thing that goes in there nicely. I, of course, used some alcohol ink to make this because I wanted a bright spot so you could see the skull. That's just some washi tape here on the side I've had in my stash for a while. Hopefully it'll be used up by the year 2025. I don't know. Alright, that's in tight, but you can see some of the skull. This was from Tim Holtz 3D die from last year. I made a fun card with it that again is on my Instagram, but I don't think I did anything on YouTube for it. So if you're looking for some sort of creepy inspiration, go check out Instagram. Yeah, so that's my skull page. Okay, here is... Let me take this picture down. So I had these stickers, they're chipboard stickers, in my stash, and I wanted to use them. So they really have nothing to do with the x-ray photograph. It's just a little vignette on both sides of the page. I use some of the same elements, but these are the same looks. And that's pretty much that. Now this could be a nice tuck spot, and we could use this photo in the tuck spot. Let me show you this photo. So I took a picture of the inside. Can you see how creepy that is? It's a beautiful place, beautiful woodwork and all that. Ghost hunters spent a night there in, I don't know, like 2017. But just the photographs. This is taken from outside. I wasn't inside. But a really, really creepy. So anyhow, you can add a photo there, or you can put it inside. I put the photo originally inside here. Oops, come here. But it doesn't have to be there. It could be anywhere. So you can see I had some die cut fencing that I used on both. I had some... I would tell you it's mummy cloth, but it's not. It's actually gauze from my medicine cabinet that I inked up a little bit. This I sort of just folded. It's from the Tim Holtz wallpaper. Those are Tim Holtz embellishing. And there's a poison hemlock sticker that was in my stash. I inked it a little bit just to make it darker. So that is actually the last page. And again, this guy, this picture, you could just put right there on the page. And that is the last page. The back of it I covered with some paper. Again, I wanted to make it structurally sound, even though it is just a acetate mini album. And that is it. You could put a lot of... my placeholder doesn't need to be there. You could put a lot of photos. You could put more dimensional things if you wanted to. A 3-inch spine was probably overkill, but like I said, I didn't know how much I wanted. The spine is actually a pocket as well. So if I wanted to make it a little sturdier, I could add another piece of chipboard. Anyhow, I promised you I would show you how I used that acetate that's been in my stash for several years. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. I don't have a tutorial because it was a test to see if I could actually do something. I'll show you real quick a couple of hints about it though. So hold on. All right, so I recorded this after I'd made the cover, and I'm just going to go through it real quick. But let me tell you, the base of it was made using 2 pieces of the acetate that I sewed on 3 sides. Obviously, I left it open on the top. The spine was, I just scored it to have a 3-inch spine, so I guess I had 2.5 inches. I cut it down on each side, and then I sewed the covers onto that. I did put that little attaching brad on. Again, it's only sewed on 3 sides, so you can reach in. And yeah, you can see how the sewing machine was a mess, but you know, it made something. And again, the pages were easy to make. You just make pages as regular. The hinge was the easiest thing because I just made the hinge as usual. Again, I used double-sided adhesive to hold it all together, and that worked fine. I didn't need any other glue. I don't know if any other glue would stick to the acetate. So the fun thing is then you can add different things inside where you can either have the design on the acetate show and utilize it like I did with the hand there, or not. I just want to show you, I'm making the pocket here. I want to show you how easy it is to score. The worst part about scoring it is it's slippery. So I have to have a good spot to hold it down, so that's why I'm scoring on the right hand side. So I just scored it at 1/2 inch. And I'm going to score it on both sides at 1/2 inch. And then I do need to cut through the score lines and miter at the top. I'm just using that white paper so you can see. And look, it just folds like a dream. I mean, once you score it, it's easier than folding paper. So then I'm adding the score tape. This is the pocket on the front inside cover. Just burnish it real well, and then it'll stick like magic. Now, of course, you're going to see that you've got the score tape, or you've got the double, it's folded, but you know, who cares? It's acetate. There's nothing you could do about it. And then I tried playing around with exactly what I was going to use. I had that batty paper, but it wasn't, again, the right look. It had to be creepy, gory, scary. I don't know. Okay, and that's pretty much how I made it. So thanks everybody for joining along. I hope you have a fabulous day.